Hello friends, James Stevenson back with another episode of Who's Hatin' Hard on Tesla Today. I'll go ahead and play the Who's Hatin' Hard on Tesla Today sizzle and let you know today's hater is going to be FunWithNumberz, an anonymous Twitter account. We'll get to that in just a second. First, let's check in with my co-host, Loki, who is still resting in bed. He's going to wait and eat his breakfast a little later on, looks like. But yeah, let's read this tweet from May 8th from FunWithNumberz. You don't get a profile pic for FunWithNumberz or a real name. You just get this anonymous troll posting hate for anybody who likes Tesla. That's what's going on here. So what's this tweet say? Why do people trust this idiot when his May 7th forecast doesn't even include the correct actual results for production and deliveries over the last 2 quarters? So he's referencing my May 7th, my most recently published Tesla forecast from May 7th. And I had to reply, Tesla's production and deliveries report does not include semi, but thanks for playing. So in both of those quarters, Tesla did produce and deliver semis. I include those in my forecast because why would I not? What I don't get on them is confirmation from Tesla of exactly how many semis were produced and delivered, but we do get news reports, right? So that is production activity that should be accounted for in a costing model. If you're trying to figure out what Tesla's costs are going to be, you need to be accounting for vehicles that are being produced and delivered, whether Tesla has reported them or not, and Tesla doesn't report them because they're not material. So Dutchy replies, FunWithNumberz, numbers are hard. FunWithNumberz, if the semi is so immaterial as he says, why is he including it? Tesla hasn't even given us numbers on it. So I explain. The financial impacts semi has on Tesla's business are included in the total income statement Tesla reports. So I included in my earnings forecast because there's an impact on earnings of producing those vehicles and selling them. It's a negative impact on earnings, actually, at low production volumes. You cannot make money producing and selling vehicles until you're producing more than your break-even point, and Tesla's nowhere near their break-even point on semi yet, right? What's so hard to understand about this? They just don't report the number of semis sold on the production and deliveries report because it's immaterial. And he comes back with the excuse, you assume they are actually charging for this pilot production. Well, yeah, it's a pretty safe assumption that they're charging for vehicles they're giving to Pepsi, right? That is a business-to-business transaction. Customarily, the business taking delivery of the vehicle will pay some form of tribute for the receipt of said useful asset. That's how business works. Somebody said it's amazing how you can wiggle into a separate point once corrected. FunWithNumberz is not actually very good with numbers. So he says James has plenty of made-up stuff in there. All right, too smart to ever be wrong, somebody said here. And then Motorhead Brad Munkin got into a little shouting match with me here as well. But, you know, this is not a video about Brad Munkin. I've made enough Who's Hatin' Hard on Tesla Today videos about him. So let's go to see what this guy is up to lately. Yesterday I tweeted out this % of vehicles in traffic accidents chart. I just made a video about this, which you can check out. I'll try and remember to leave a link in the video description, but if not, it'll be very easy for you to find on my YouTube page. Then, yeah, here's the comment from FunWithNumberz with a Z. Yeah, but the Tesla death rates seem to be much higher than comparable large luxury vehicles as well, he claimed without evidence. Would you rather have 10 accidents and 0 deaths in a non-Tesla, or 5 accidents and 5 deaths in a Tesla? So my reply was, so your shtick now is just that you tell outrageous lies? Independent testing shows Teslas are the safest vehicles ever crash tested by NHTSA. That is true. Let me show you what I mean, just so you've got the source to go with that. I pulled it up. Let me grab it. Model 3 achieves the lowest probability of injury of any vehicle ever tested by NHTSA. Let's scroll on down here. You can read this if you want to, if you pause the video. But here's the chart. The chart is the payoff. So here are the 50 safest vehicles ever tested by NHTSA. If you rank them from safest over here on the left to least safe of 50 vehicles tested, so these are above an 8% chance of injury, Tesla takes the spots number 1, number 2, and number 3. This is back in 2018. They've been making the vehicles even safer every year since 2018. The only vehicle with less than a 6% probability of injury in NHTSA testing is the Model 3, closely followed by the number 2 Model S and the number 3 Model X. And then there's only one other vehicle close enough. They don't tell you what the fourth ranked vehicle is. But there's only, 3 more vehicles that have less than a 7% chance of injury. So if the number one most important thing to you when purchasing a vehicle is to minimize your risk of serious injury in the event of a collision, a Tesla is, without a doubt, the brand of vehicle you want to buy. You cannot buy a safer car in the event of a collision than a Tesla with, all the safety features I'm not going to go into right now. What did FunWithNumberz say? He said, lowest probability of injury does not equal overall death rate. Look at the medium report from 2017, which he does not provide. And then look at the number of Tesla deaths reported in recent years. How many deaths are we seeing from comparable vehicles? So this is a guy who has fallen for the TeslaDeaths.com business. What you'll see on a whole lot of Tesla Q Twitter profiles is that they've made their link in their profile to TeslaDeaths.com, which is a site run by Tesla short sellers where they document, every single accident involving a fatality, whether it was the Tesla's fault or not, whether the Tesla was parked at a red light when it got crashed into by a runaway semi. One of them actually is someone who was killed by a bridge partially collapsing onto their car and crushing the car under a giant block of concrete. This is the level of seriousness you're dealing with if you take as gospel the data you find at TeslaDeaths.com. You are the one alleging that death results 100% of the time in a Tesla, which is what this says. 10 accidents and 0 deaths in a non-Tesla. 5 accidents, 5 deaths in a Tesla. So batting 1,000 of dying every time there's any collision in a Tesla. Some of these collisions are just fender benders, right? They're low-speed collisions, but they still count. Or the Tesla was in no way at fault, right? Or there was nobody in the vehicle at the time of the collision, or whatever the edge cases are for stuff that gets reported in that total. The burden of proof is on you, FunWithNumberz, to provide evidence supporting your claim, and good luck. Good luck finding evidence that says nobody ever dies in any collision in any non-Tesla, but every single time there's any collision in a Tesla, someone dies. That's the claim. Which FunWithNumberz backpedals away from rapidly, saying, I didn't allege anything. Really? I provided an example for discussion and asked a question. Check out the Medium study from 2017. All the proof you need and the number of Tesla deaths since kind of backs it up a little. Gordon Campbell replied, so far there hasn't been a single fatality while FSD beta is active. I'm sure it will happen at some point, but your implication as to the vulnerability of Tesla is just outlandish. What's FunWithNumberz reply to this charge that no one has ever died in a Tesla using FSD beta despite millions of miles driven? Many millions. FunWithNumberz replies, there hasn't been a single fatality that we know of. Of course. Tesla would hide that data anyway. Oh yeah, we know, you know in the Tesla Q community for sure, that Tesla would work to cover up any evidence of a fatality that happened on FSD beta. That is the level of rigor behind the thinking in the Tesla Q camp, and that is who's hating hard on Tesla today. Let me check back in with Loki, who is curled up in bed, asleep. And with that, I will outro and say, if you've enjoyed today's video, click the like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, why not go ahead and subscribe to my channel over here and click the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post fresh content. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon or on Twitter by subscribing there, only 69 cents per week, or by joining my YouTube channel as my executive producers Kathy Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com did, and I'll see you in the next one.